In this video, we're going to take a look at this Yamaha 875EX Alto saxophone. I'm going to give it a detailed review from a technician's perspective and from a player's perspective. I'm going to rate it from 0 to 100, and at the end of the video, we'll give it a play test and an up-close video of this beautiful instrument. Let's get started. The 875EX has a great sound. It's very big. It tends to be on the darker side, and it's definitely a focus sound. They market it for classical players, but I love these horns. I would play them as a jazz and rock player. I think they're fantastic. Everything about them is great. The finish on them is as good as anything. There's beautiful engraving. These were available in a clear lacquer like this one. They also had a black lacquer, and they had a gold-plated finish and a silver-plated finish. They're keyed from low B flat to high F sharp. The factory setup is very good. However, on this one, I did find some unacceptable amounts of key play. Specifically, the F key has a lot of key play, and the upper stack, the B key and the C sharp key and the A key have a lot of movement, which is really surprising because everything about this horn is really well made. Let me know if you have a horn like this and if you've experienced the key play like this horn's got. The pad setup and pad work on these horns is very good. They use a shellac to glue the pads in, and they use a good amount, so they're easy to adjust. And I've had these horns where players have played these for years and years, and they're still easy to adjust. So the factory setup is very good, and they're really easy to maintain, and they're always fun to work on, and they're easy to work on. They use a combination of a felt, tech corks, and natural cork, and I like how they use the natural cork under the key feet, then a tech cork on the top, and that really keeps the adjustments stable and long lasting. The key venting overall from the factory is very good. There was a few keys that I had to adjust that just weren't quite opening up far enough, but overall it's really good. Spring tension is decent. There's definitely some keys that feel very soft compared to other keys, but that's an easy fix. Front F key has been redesigned on the saxophone compared to what most Yamahas have, which is a separate key that's soldered on its own separate little key saddle. And this is a Yamaha white AS62, and if you notice, that's the front F key, and it's very simple, very effective. It just tilts on the saddle there and lifts the front F key. And on the 875EX, the front F key is a two-piece design, so there's two levers. There's one lever on the stack that's integrated into the stack, and then there's a little tilting key on the body, which is actually pretty typical of most saxophones. They'll have the front F key on the stack and then another lever that's on the body, and it feels really good. It's definitely a nice mechanism. I think they're both fine. I definitely don't see an advantage of this, and if you're used to playing Yamahas, this might take a little bit getting used to. One thing I don't like about the horn is the ball joint side keys, which is what they used on later Mark VI saxophones, and they're not great. They're noisy, and these are no exception. And there's not a whole lot you can do to quiet that down. You can grease them up, but then that can make them sluggish. And then of course the grease over time is just going to work itself out. And so I'm not a fan of that on this horn. I mean, it feels smooth, and it is smooth, but it's noisy. The 875s had a nickel neck clamp ring, and it has a nickel rocking arm on this octave key, and the neck strap ring is nickel silver. And so that's a really durable, long-lasting material, and I really like it. It looks nice too as well. And the octave keys also has kind of a finished contoured feel to it, which just feels nice under the thumb. Same thing with all the pearls. Everything on it's really high quality. These are really well built instruments. Have you noticed how that light flickers? Can anybody tell me why that does that? It's super annoying, and I can't figure out what to do. I'm recording all this on an iPhone 13 Pro, and of course there's no like settings I can adjust. I just have to record, and the video does look pretty good, but that's obnoxious. So if you have any tips and tricks on that, please let me know. Yeah, the action and key work and machining work on this horn is great. My biggest issue is that key play. Let's move on to the ratings. Oh, and also, if you don't mind, please subscribe. Eventually I'll get some spreadsheets up and we'll be able to compare a lot of saxophones. I think this is the third one I've done, and it's the second new professional saxophone. This saxophone received a 76 out of 100, and here's how I came to that score. Ease of future adjustments. This horn received a 9 out of 10. The pad work is great. The materials are great. This horn will be a reliable horn that's easy to maintain. Key venting, 8 out of 10. Overall, it was pretty good. Sound quality, 9 out of 10. These saxophones are great sounding saxophones. Any saxophone that has a great sound, even if it maybe not be my preference of how it sounds, will get a 9 out of 10. Build quality, 5 out of 10. And that's because of the key play. Everything else on the saxophone is beautifully done and beautifully built. That key play just really hurts it because the key play that is in it is going to be really hard to get out. Factory setup, 8 out of 10. These saxophones are set up very well from the factory. Pad glue used, 8 out of 10. A lot of new saxophones don't use enough glue to where a technician can easily adjust the pad when there's leaks. This saxophone has enough glue that you'll be able to adjust pads for years to come. A lot of saxophones, they'll use minimal amount of glue where they'll just put enough in to hold the pad in, they'll clamp it down, bend the key cup, get the leaks out of it and ship it out, and then the next guy that has to work on it has a very hard time getting pads to seal. So this horns, they did a great job on that. Spring evenness, 7 out of 10. Overall it was really good. It's not perfect, so there are some adjustments, but 7 out of 10. Material quality, that's the pads, corks, felts, maybe quality of brass. Some saxophones do have a softer brass material that might make them not as reliable. This one receives an 8 out of 10. Cosmetic looks. This horn's beautiful, beautiful engraving. Yeah, some nice floral engraving, which I'll be showing at the end of this video. I'll have an up close look at this saxophone without me talking, so that'll be nice. Long-term resale, just like any new saxophone, it's going to depreciate and you're going to lose money on it. These horns have great resale as far as demand, but the money that you'll get out of them will not be what you paid for them. So they'll lose money, and that receives a 5 out of 10. I'd say pretty much any new saxophone is going to receive a 5 out of 10 unless it's some sort of limited edition collector's horn, or maybe like small production like a gold-plated saxophone or solid silver saxophone or something like that they just didn't make very many of. Those tend to hold their value and actually increase in value. And that leaves us with 76 out of 100. Beautiful saxophones, great playing saxophones, one of my favorites. My name's Scott Reed. I'm a woodwind repair technician. I play music professionally. I buy, sell, trade, and collect musical instruments. And now I have a YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Now I'm going to move on to the play test of this beautiful saxophone. I'll be playing this saxophone today with my Ted Klum Acoustimax, which is more of a large chamber, fairly open mouthpiece, and it's definitely more of a jazz mouthpiece.